Is that true? Okay. And let's see. I have a couple things set up here, but maybe we'll take a look at your classwork first. Let's see. I'm actually going to pause. Okay. All right. So we have a table, and we're looking at how to find compositions of functions. And remember, compositions of functions, here are a couple ways of looking at them, like f of g of x, g of f of x, f of x. And you can look at composition of functions if you're given equations, if you're given tables, or if you're given graphs. All right, and we're going to try to maybe do one of each if we can before the day's up. So, I don't know. Let's take a look. A, they give us a table, and then A says, find h of 3, which is going to be h of x is equal to g of f of x. All right, so take like 5 seconds, take a look at your tables, see if you can figure out what that might be, and then when you're ready to give an explanation, we'll be ready to talk. Keith, you ready to roll the dice? Too early in the morning. Evan, you ready to roll the dice? All right, so what do you think? What do you have for an answer? And I'll tell you how your dice rolling was.
2?
I don't think so. Oh, shh! All right, fine. Rafi? Yeah, I agree. I think it's 1. Talk us. Now, maybe we're wrong. But I feel good because Rafi agreed with me, so go ahead. Talk me through it.
I did f of 3.
All right. All right, hold on. Let me catch up with you. So h of 3 is the same as g of f of 3. So Rafi's saying, hey, let's do f of 3. And let's see, let's do that. F of 3 is 2. So that's the same as g of 2. All right, then what do we do? G of 2, if we look up g of 2, is 1. How's that color coding work for you? Is that pretty awesome or what? Oh, they both look yellow though, don't they?
Yeah.
No, one was green. Yeah, it really is.
Why is it on the other side of the room, by the way?
Where were you for the whole beginning?
If you wanted Rafi to move that seat, then she didn't want to expose these. I'm not really sure why he moved, but that's the reason.
All right. Well, I feel bad. I feel like I'm always ignoring this side. That's better, right? Now you can't read it, but it's better. You know it's a different color. That's good. Okay. All right, Rafi, find someone to talk us through B, which is f of, or k of 5. All right, go ahead. All right. Hold on, I got to catch up with you. All right, so g of 5, Danny looks up g of 5 on the table and we get 0. So that's f of 0. And now you're saying what? F of 0, look that up, you get 3? Awesome. Great. Thanks. Hey, how you doing? You sign in? All right. You want to ask a question? Michelle, you want to do C? All right, so g of 1 is 7. Okay. Oh. There's no f of 7. So that's as good as it gets. State what additional information you would need. We'd actually need to know what f of 7 is. Ooh, nice. Where did I write 11? Yeah, I did. What was I supposed to write? I got just too excited. Okay, great. All right. Evan, question?
I'm kind of confused. So for B, when you took G of 5, you took like the 5 from like the very top.
Yep.
Right? But so F of 3, didn't you take the 3 from not the very top of the second row?
F of 3 is 2. You look it up, right? So F of 3 is 2. I did the same thing, or not I guess, what? Who did that one? Someone did. Who did that? How could I forget already? Danny did that one. All right, so that's where Danny did that one. And then when we did, I don't know what you're talking about, F of 0? No. F of 5? G of 5. You look up 5, and then you go down in the table to find out what the G of. Is that okay? And we can also organize the tables, instead of horizontally, we could organize them vertically. Let's actually, let's see. Here, yeah, let's do this one. So here's a table that's organized vertically, and it gives us this piece of information. R of t is equal to Q of P of t. I'm really sorry you don't have this one on your classwork. So if you want, you can write it down, but you can also just pay attention and think it through. So I think for this one, there are, well, we're missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 values. And they've given us some information. And there's actually one easy, I think, maybe I'm wrong. I think there's an easy question. There's an easy blank. And I think there are a few medium blanks and maybe one hard blank. All right. Sam, you want to start us off with something?
I would plug in P of 4.
All right. So if we look at this row, it looks like maybe there's a lot of information there. So R of 4 is equal to Q of P of 4. Are you sure? I thought that was a good idea.
So Q4 is 1, Q of 1.
Oh, never mind, it's 2, yeah. That's good.
I thought that was a good one. All right, wait, so hold on. So we're agreed that it's good. All right, so now let's talk through it. So, look, R of t is equal to Q of P of t. So if you pick a number to plug in for R and for P, they're going to be the same number, and we're going to work through it. And a lot of this is going to be courage for the deed, okay? Sam picked a good one, and it's going to work out, but we might have to pick some ones that don't work out the first time, and then we get other information and we go back and do it. That's okay. All right, so R of 4 is going to be equal to Q of, well, what is P of 4? All right, so P of 4, so we go down the chart, and P of 4 is equal to 1. All right, so I'm just going to plug in. Right? Instead of writing P of 4, I'm going to write 1. So do you see how this is a substitution? Now the question says R of 4 is equal to Q of 1. All right, well, I have to figure out what Q of 1 is. If I use the table, Q of, here's the 1 row, Q of 1 is 2. So this was just a long way of saying R of 4 equals 2. I'm going to write that in. And that was the easy one. I'm not trying to freak people out, but that was easy. They're going to get a little harder. Do you want to ask a question on that? Is that okay? All right, I'm going to get this out of the way for a second. And we're going to pick... Ooh, I thought I was going to get it out of the way, but it didn't. That's better. All right. Ooh, what happened to the 2? I guess I did. Didn't mean to. All right. Elizabeth, you want to pick?
I actually think the top row would be the next easiest one because the other ones don't give you the p-value.
So there's... Elizabeth's noticing that, like, it'd be nice... It's nice to have the value for P. And there are a lot of them that don't have that. So I'll try it. We'll do courage for the deed. So you want to do R of 0? Okay, so R of 0 is equal to Q of P of 0. Okay? All right, talk to me, Elizabeth. What do we know?
Q of 0 equals 4.
All right, so this whole thing is equal to 4, so I'm going to plug that in.
And Q of 4 is equal to 5.
That was awesome.
R0 is equal to 5. Great.
And then you
Wait, hold on. Is that good? Is that all right? We're finished. Q of 4 is equal to 5, and that's what R of 0 is. Right? Q of 4 is equal to 5, and we're good. Is that all right? That was a good one to pick. Do you want to ask a question?
No.
All right, who wants to try next one? Mo, you want to try? Okay. Rafi, you want to try? I keep taking the blanks. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
The second one?
All right, so you want to try R of 1? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what you meant by the second one?
Yeah.
Okay. So R of 1 is equal to Q of P of 1.
Can't you just say Q2, we'll get it from another one that P equals 2? Is that how you do it?
All right, so tell me, so we have P, oh, P of 1's a blank. Is that the problem?
Yeah.
Well-
You should find whatever gives you 2 from P, like another one.
All right, well, tell me why 2. So you're saying Q of 1 is 2? Is that, or no?
Yeah.
It is, but I don't know that this is going to be Q of 1. I think we can still do this, though. Tell me this, Rafi. Do you know what R of 1 is equal to?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start with the other side here. We know R of 1 equals 1, and so that's Q of P of 1. So this question is being turned around. Elizabeth, stop reading Latin. Oh my goodness. Was it Latin? Wow, that's a good call on my part. So this one's hard, and it's going to be, we're going to need to talk about it a little bit. Rafi starts with 1, and in this case, we know what R of 1 is, and now the question is, Q of something equals 1. Can you look at the table, and this is for Rafi really, and tell me Q of what is equal to 1?
5.
Okay, so if you look at the table, Q of 5 equals 1. So, look, if you know that 1 is equal to Q of, holy cow, Q of 5, we actually know something really important. We know that whatever's in here has to equal whatever's in there. So what's the piece of, Rafi, what piece of information did you figure out for us looking at those two things? P of, nope, 1 has to be 5. Look what you found out. You found out that P of 1 has to equal 5. We needed that. That was good. Do you see how that one was backward? Like, we had to figure out what R of that value was, and then we had to say, like, we had to plug in and say, all right, Q of what gives us that, and then set those equal to each other? That was hard.
Oh boy. Oh no.
That was hard.
Oh no.
What?
Everything's gone.
Oh, is it really? Where did it go? There we go. Okay. All right. Evan, you want to try one? Okay, good time for a question.
So that seems like we kind of assuming like the reciprocal work. Like, is that right or wrong? Like, after 5 you can go on and 1 is something like that.
So it assumes that the functions that were given are 1-to-1, right? So we're saying Q of what equals 1? Well, if they're functions, there's only one value that's going to be equal to 1. No, that's not true. You could have two values that give you the same output. No, you can't. Yeah, you can have two different inputs that give you the same output. That'd be right. So what we're assuming is that each input gives us a unique output, so that P of 1 has to be equal to 5. You're saying, well, maybe there are other values that also give you 1 for Q. And you're right. I think we're assuming that we're constrained to this table, so we're looking at values of 0 through 5. I think it's a nice observation, though. Did that sort of address what you're saying, or not really? Okay. All right, who wants to try another one? Danny?
So the first one for Q.
Okay.
Then you can find Q of 0. So then you said P of T to 0.
All right, so...
Would be 5.
All right, hold on. R of... Wait, we want to find Q of 0?
Yeah, you can find Q of 0.
All right, so Q of 0... How are we going to figure that out?
Well, in order for P of T to be 0, T has to be 5.
Oh, okay. Wow, this is really hard. All right, so Q of P of what equals 0? So here's what Danny's looking for. Danny's asking himself, when is this equal to 0? And you're saying P of 5 equals 0? Okay, so watch how we're going to set this up. And we would have come to this if we had just gone in order. It would have been fine. Okay. We're going to say, what? Wow. I don't know what's going on. Oh, man. It is, because I moved on to the side, right? Okay. All right, so P of 5 equals 0. So here's what we're really trying to say. R of 5 is equal to Q of P of 5. 5's like the magic number for this one. Well, what's P of 5 equal to? 0. So R of 5 is equal to Q of 0. Do we know what R of 5 is? Yeah, we know what R of 5 is. R of 5 is equal to 3. So 3 equals Q of 0. Oh, where did it go now? Why did it decide to leave? Man, it is really has it in for me. I wonder if... It is, that's what they already told me that. It's all my fault. That's what they said. Can you remind me what's R of 0? No, I can't even write there. Okay, and then do we find P of... Stop. No, seriously, that's obnoxious. P of 1 did we find? Is that 5 too? No.
1 is 5.
Okay, no one's writing this down. That's fine. And did we find anything else down here? Like
Yeah, we found...
R of 4?
Yeah, we did. It's 2.
Is it really? Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, now it all came back. Great, thanks. Where were you when I needed you? Okay, so look, here's what we've done. We've actually done R of 0, R of 1, R of 5, R of 4. Do you see actually all we're doing is systematically going down the list and plugging in t values for every value? We did R of 0, R of 1, R of 4, R of 5. What haven't we done? R of 3 and R of 2. So let's do R of 2 is equal to Q of P of 2. Do I know any of these values? Do I know what R of 2 is? Do I know that? Oh yeah, okay. Equals Q of, do I know what P of 2 is? No. Do I know what value of Q, do I know Q of what equals 0? Do I know anything about that? Can I look up on the Q of what equals 0? Q of 3 equals 0. So guess what that means about these two values? That means P of 2 equals 3. And they're all gone again. I don't know why. Q of 3. We already knew that. Oh, P of 2 equals 3. P of 2 equals 3.
Q of 1 equals 5.
I'm getting mad at this because now I really need it to show me, and I don't have it. All right, and the last one we have left is R of 3 equals, Q of course it is, equals Q of P of 3. It's like taunting me. Of course. All right, do we know what R of 3 is? 4. Do we know what P of 3 is? So we know that Q of 2 equals 4. Hey, look at that. And I think we've got everything filled in, even though it doesn't look like it's all filled in. And so the key to this was courage for the deed. We actually went through, Sam started us off with probably one of the easier ones, which was R of 4. But we actually went through and we saw that any piece of information that we did, whether we did R of 0, R of 1, equals P of Q of 0, equals P of Q of 1, it all gave us some information, and it just mattered how we thought about the problem regarding what we were missing. This is the hardest kind of problem. It's easy when they give us like the first 2 columns and all we need to do is find the third. It's hard when we're missing information in the first and second column, and that's going to be what's hard tonight. You're not going to like those tables, but you'll get better at them. Evan?
Can I take an observation, or is it not?
You can give me it's like a brief one.
Alright, so like for the very first one that we did, like number 1,
Uh-huh.
kind of like found like, you went to like the X, and then you went with the X row, and then you went to the F of X, and then you went back to the X, and then you went to the G of X, and that's how you got your final number G of X.
For the first one problem we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
This is kind of like you went to X, then you go to like a G of X, and then you go to an F of X, and then you go back to an X.
For some of them.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
this one,
like,
some of them were, one of these was like the first one we did, but you're absolutely right. There were some of them that were,
yeah.
yes, that was a nice observation. Thanks. All right, let's see. Let's try one with a table, and then I want to do one sort of algebraic one. Sorry, not a table, with a graph. We just did 2 with tables. Here we have 2 different graphs. And let's take a look at A, V of U of negative 1. All right, so in order to do this, I need to know what U of negative 1 is. Monty, let's see, here's U and here's V. Using the U graph, what's U of negative 1 on that graph? Try again.
It says negative 1, but it
Doesn't say negative 1. 1, right. U of negative 1 is the output. When the input's negative 1, the output is 1. Good. Monty calling someone to follow up on that to find V of 1.
It's 2.
Yep. V of 1 on this graph is the value of 2. Is that okay? All right. And then last but not least, let's go back to the classwork, and let's do like a 3. 3 is an equation. Actually, 2 and 3 are both equations, so we'll try 3, and if we have time, I don't know if we will, we'll do 2. All right. Whoops, that didn't work. Man, this is the last time I sit on this side, I tell you. Yeah, must be. I don't know if it's my karma or your karma. All right, so there are actually 3 very easy pieces and 1 hard piece. Guess what? F of x is equal to 2x squared plus 1. So when I need to plug that in, I can just plug that in. And is that plus? Thanks. X plus h minus x, that actually simplifies. What's that equal to? H. Do you remember this from like first semester? This is the hard one. I need to plug x plus h into the rule that says square it, double it, and add 1. So what do I get when I plug x plus h into the square it, double it, and add 1 rule?
Foil it, right?
I'm going to have to. All right, so 2 x plus h quantity squared plus 1. That's what the square it, double it, add 1 rule is for x plus h. All right, let's see if I can do this. It's going to be x squared plus 2xh plus h squared plus 1. So that's going to be 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared plus 1. And that's all the hard work. And where are my Algebra 2 fans? Okay, so here it is. You remember this from first semester. After you do the hard work, this really nice thing happens. Watch what we get. On top, we get 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared plus 1 minus the quantity, 2x squared plus 1, all over h. Yeah, I'm getting excited too. This is going to look nice. Now, 4 out of 10 pre-calc students forget that they have to distribute the minus. And now, Rafi, what goes? 2x squareds are gone, the 1s are gone, and I'm left with 4xh plus 2h squared over h. It gets better, says Elizabeth. I can factor out a 2h, but really all I care about, the h. If I factor out the h, I get 4x. It could be. What happens to the h's? And this whole thing is equal to 4x plus 2h. So all that ugliness and all that hard work simplified to something very nice and easy. All right? Evan?
I don't know if you said exactly what you said. We did this exact thing in chapter 1, right?
I don't know if it's chapter 1 or chapter 2, but this is definitely we did this exact same strategy, and you remember, like, you had to do all this algebra, and then things canceled, and it was a great thing. So we definitely did this, which is nice. It's good. What's old is new, and what's new is old. You're absolutely right. There are many, many students who actually, we get to chapter 8, and they're like, this is so much better than trig, because even if it's hard, at least I've seen it. So this is true. All right, so in